Well, I really believe that you, like me, actually want to get folks interested in the Bible, get folks interested in what we believe, see them reading the Bible daily, getting baptized, to the glory of God and to the glory of His Son. That's what we all want to see. And in the end, we would love to see people walking into our halls, joining in with our church services, and so forth. That's what we all want. But how, in the Western world at least, how can you get that? Apparently, nobody is much interested because people don't come out to meetings these days. People don't come out to a public meeting to hear a lecture. That's mythical. That's the stuff of the past. That doesn't happen these days. And you try various ways of advertising, doesn't seem to work. You think, well, we'll go out and try and, I don't know, clean old people's garbage up for them, we'll try and mow their lawns, etc. Does that work? Well, folks have tried it, but it doesn't seem to work either. In terms of actually getting people studying the Bible, coming to see our point of view, saying, yes, I see this truth, I would like to be baptized, yep, tell me more. And we may think that, yeah, look, society's not interested. Well, I'm in my 50s, and I look back to when I started preaching as a teenager. I consistently preached the gospel all my life. And I tell you this, I'm talking about the Western world in this context, there is more interest now than there ever has been, certainly far more than when I was a young man. And yet, you look at our meetings at ecclesias, our churches, they're dwindling. Let's face it, just face reality. They are dwindling. Most of the folks getting baptized, if any, are relatives of those already baptized. Where is the fresh blood? It's really not there. The whole thing is just in free fall. Certainly in the UK, in our community, seems there's probably about 80,000 in the 50s, and now we're down to about 7,000. Large proportion of whom are over 60. This is not good. This is not a good picture. This is a community in free fall. And yet we have the very best thing to give people. We have a worldview, a view of the Bible, of God, of life, of the Lord Jesus that makes sense and is actually, I think, intuitively attractive to a lot of folks. Now, what are we going to do? How can we get to people? Well, you may say, all right, so they're not going to turn out to meeting, fair enough. Well, let's go to them through the internet. Well, say you open your website, and the websites are seen all over the world. People complain to me that, well, we opened a website, but yeah, a few people replied from Africa somewhere wanting free literature or whatever, but we didn't get very far either. Yeah, sure. If you're imagining that there are people out there in your area who want to somehow come along to your church, well, no, not immediately, not at all. That's why I began by saying that we all want surely to see the glory of God in transformed human lives. Far more, I suggest, than just seeing people walking into our halls. Society's changed. You must have seen that, because everybody's walking around now, about everyone is under 50, with these things, these cell phones. They got their earphones on, they're listening to something. They get on a train or on a bus and everyone's got their phone out. Everybody is using these things, and they're, I say, hooked on them. It's sort of how life has gone, isn't it? That it's on your phone. I don't go to a meeting. I don't want to come and listen to somebody telling me something. If I want to find something, I can find it in a couple of seconds looking on my phone, and then I've got all the information that I need. I don't go out to any meeting or have face-to-face meetings. You may say that's unhealthy and it's lamentable, that society has got like that, but that's how it is, and there's no point just lamenting it. You've got to think, how can we get our message onto your phone? You young person, you middle-aged guy who are there looking at your phone all the time, pressing this, looking at this, reading that, listening to this, that and the other on your earpiece. How can we get the message of the Bible onto people's phones? Bearing in mind, as I've said, that people, in my opinion, are far more interested in spiritual things these days than they were 30 or more, 40 years ago. They're interested in spiritual things, but not religion. Tell them on your phone, come out to our church at such and such place, corner of Main Street and whatever it might be. No. You don't go to church at this stage. But that does not mean they're not asking questions. You have a look at the search terms that people are looking for on Google. People are searching. They're asking pretty well the right questions. They may be looking in the wrong places for answers, but they are asking the right questions. So what can we do? We want to get our message onto their phone. The other thing is that we want to build up local interest. Because you may be isolated, or just 2 or 3 of you, and you think, oh, if only we could have another couple of people who think how we do, that would be great. You may not want to build a mega church, but you may want to have more folks thinking how you do, to fellowship with. You may be in a small church that's going down, and you think, we need some new people here, some fresh blood. How do we get it? As I say, you say, oh, get a website. Well, yes and no. I'm not sure about that, because people don't go from a website, have a look at a website, to come into your church. It's more subtle than that, and it's got to be deeper than that. You've got to get people actually engaging with the text of the Bible and actually getting some answers and systematically going through the message of the Bible and of the gospel. And as I say, to build up local interest, that's what's so difficult, to get local interest around where I live, around where our church hall is. That's the thing. And I really believe that there's a way forward here. And this is what it is. We have an app called the Bible Companion. You've got, obviously, the whole text of the Bible, and the Bible being read as audio every chapter. You've got a message for younger people on every chapter, and you've got an audio message, a sermon, an explanation of every chapter. And tap one verse on your screen and you've got a commentary on every verse of the Bible. Plus you've got the Bible Basics course. Systematically go through the whole message, and that's on audio. People seem to like listening to audio while they're jogging, while they're going to sleep, or whatever it might be, while they're feeding their baby. And you've also got it on video. Folks like looking at moving heads, it seems. Now, I might say all this is not for me. I think I'm from that generation that still reads books, but a lot of folks, this is how they are. And it's no good saying, yeah, well, what a shame. Yeah, right. Get that message onto their phones. Now, we've got an app that does all that. Websites are a bit passé. It's the phone. This is what people are spending an average of 4 hours a day looking at. Not computer screens, not desktops, not laptops, these things. That's what they're doing. There's no point trying to deny that. That is how it is. So, there's a way to build up local interest, and this is how it is. I don't work for Google, nothing to do with them, but you can't deny it that this is a powerful way of searching for information. You can advertise on Google. So if somebody types in something about the Bible, or some question about is Jesus God, or whatever like that might occur to people, what really happens after death, they see an ad for that app. Click, click, totally free, get it on your phone, there's no annoying ads that keep springing up on your phone, and you've got that app on their phone. This is what we're doing. We've trialled this all around the world. It's working. There are people literally from Greenland, there are people in Greenland, there are people in Antarctica, I guess people working there looking after scientists and whatever they do in Antarctica, chase penguins or whatever, who are studying the Bible with us on that app, and every country literally in between. The advantage of paying for those ads on Google is that you can hone it in. You can zoom in on an area up to 2 kilometres or mile and a half, let's say, from any point on the globe. So you can put your home address in, your church hall in, and you can get it so that that app advert is appearing only for those people in that particular radius. When they search for anything to do with the Bible, they see your advert. And people do click. Once you've got that app on their phone, I really believe that you've really got something worthwhile. And so you're going to ask, well, how much does that cost? Well, that's a difficult question because every country and every area is charged slightly differently. Google do a system of what they call bidding. You bid on phrases and AdWords. So, for example, if you want to advertise Bible app, whenever they write in Bible app, your advert's going to come up. Well, if you do that in Mongolia, you can get, they charge you per download of the app. You can get that for what, 1 penny, even 1 cent per download. If you try and do that in a Western country, you could be up to $1. And then I should tell you that there is a thing called retention. That is, do you know that about 80% of people who download a free app delete it off their phone within 24 hours? That's pretty tough. 80% of people who download free apps delete them off their phones within 24 hours of downloading it. I do that. You've probably done that. But our app, you can get all the stats on it. Only about 25% of people do that. So you've got big retention. You've got 75% of people get that app and they like it and they keep it on their phone. Problem is with this kind of advertising, you don't see those people. You don't know who those people are. You don't know that the person who downloaded it lives at 62 High Street. You don't know that. You've got to wait for them, after a period of using that app, to think, yeah, who are these guys? Yeah, this makes sense. I wonder where these fellas are. Oh, okay, then they send an email, then they make contact. And then that's where you get your contact. Oh, wow, you guys are local. I never knew that. Well, there you are. So I do really think that this is the way to go. And the big advantage is that you can localize those adverts within a very specific radius. You take my dad, who's got a great heart for preaching the gospel, always has had, but he's an old man now, very old man, and he's not very mobile, but he wants to preach the gospel. And I told him about this. I said, yeah, Dad, you can get people within a mile or so of where you live actually looking at our material. And maybe one day someone's going to say, yeah, people do say this, I've been reading your stuff, I've been listening to your stuff, I've been viewing your stuff on my phone for whatever, months, even years. And yeah, I decided to contact you. So the metrics, as it were, of trying to work out how successful this is are rather difficult because you can't say, well, we spent so much money on advertising and we got so many people walking in through the door to our church. It doesn't work like that. We're living in a different age. What you can say is, yeah, we got 100 people in our neighbourhood downloaded the app onto their phone, and as far as we see, out of those 100 people, 80 of them have still got it on their phone. Most people don't keep an app on their phone for too long unless they use it. Where that leads, well, that's up to God. Now, this is not, I hope, lazy man's preaching. Yeah, okay, I'll run my credit card on this one and see what happens. And I haven't got to do anything. Well, you haven't got to do anything apart from run your credit card. But all the same, this is an absolutely legitimate 21st century way of getting our wonderful message, and it is a wonderful message, right onto people's phones, right into their lives, in a way that you are not going to achieve, I suggest, by anything else much. And they can study privately. Maybe the guy's wife isn't religious. She doesn't even know what apps he's got on his phone. Her husband, she doesn't know what he's listening to as he drives to work. She doesn't know what he spends his time looking at on that screen. and he doesn't have to tell her. This, I really believe, is the way to go. So, per download, it depends where you live, it depends what volume you want to try and do this at, but let's say a maximum, say, of $1 per download. It's actually a lot less than that if you get the hang of doing it. You can get it down to maybe 20, 30 cents per download. Don't forget you're going to lose 1 in 4 to 5 of them. Okay, fair enough, they're going to delete it, say, oh, this is not for me. But I'm talking about those who keep it. I really believe this is the way to go, and this is not just a nice idea. We've already had people who admittedly were pre-existing contacts get that app, get really into it and say, yep, I see this. Yep, I want to go for baptism. Yep, I get it. Yep, I see it. And they've been baptized. If you want to know more about how to run an advert on Google, well, send us a message. Be happy to chat. And let's just pray that all the tens of thousands of people who have got that app on their phone all over the world, bit by bit, get to see the truth and come to the Lord Jesus, to the glory of God and of His Son. Be in touch. And if you'd like to sponsor, if you think, yeah, nice idea, but I personally want to do that, sponsor it. Send a donation to sponsor other folks doing this in specific geographical areas.